In our drawing app, we have now added the ability to clear the canvas, undo, redo, and also save whatever we draw on the canvas. We are previewing the app on an iPhone simulator. Let's see how it will appear on the iPad. On the iPad, the tool picker becomes drawable, so we can take it and throw it at the edges of the screen. The tool picker also has some additional settings. For example, we can auto-minimize it. So once you create your drawing app with Pencil Kit, you get all these functionalities for free. Let's change the preview device back to iPhone and see what else we can do. Once we add more functionalities to the app by adding buttons to the toolbar, it will be a good idea to do some organization. For example, we can organize all the action buttons into a menu so that you can tap the menu to select any of these buttons. With the ChatGPT app still opened, I will press Option and space to bring the chat bar to organize the tray buttons into a SwiftUI menu. Let's add this prompt. We want to add an ellipse to the trailing section of the toolbar. Remove these buttons and place them as menu items under the menu. So I'll change the model from 4O to O3 and send the prompt. So you have noticed it has now edited the file and applied the changes automatically. Let's move the chat bar away and see what it did. So you have noticed it moved all the toolbar buttons under this menu. Let's confirm whether they work or not. I'll draw anything on the canvas and pick any of the tools. For example, undo, redo, and clear. They all work perfectly. Let's review how the menu was added. To create a menu in SwiftUI, we use the menu closure. Inside the closure, we add all the items we want to display. So we have the save button, undo, redo, and the clear button. The menu's trailing closure also has a label. So whatever button we want to display in the toolbar, we add it as a label. If you remember, this is the same icon I specified in the prompt. That is this one. Let's see if we can add more functionalities. Now, we want to add an image button allowing users to import images on the canvas. So let's send the prompt and see if it will be able to create it. So it is now thinking about what it needs to do before it modifies the code. So now it has started making the edits. So it will go ahead and edit whatever it has already implemented. It will auto apply the change now. So in the trailing section of the toolbar, we now have a button to import images on the canvas. Let's pick any of the images. So we can pick any of the drawing tools and start drawing on the image. We have now added the ability to import images onto the canvas. Let's also add our last functionality. Now, whatever we draw on the canvas, we want to export it. So by adding this prompt, let's send it and see whether it will be able to add the functionality. For this example, we want to add a button at the leading section instead. So it is now thinking through what it has to do. So let's wait for a moment. It will soon start generating the code and apply the changes. It is now modifying the file. Now it has modified the code and applied the changes. So let's see what it did. One thing you should bear in mind is there is difference between the export icon and the save icon we added previously. So let's draw anything on the canvas and try the export functionality. So it added a blank sheet presentation. Let's try if we can fix that. So it is now generating a new version of the code. So let's look at what it will do. It has now auto-applied the changes. Let's try to draw something on the canvas again. Interestingly, it added different features for the export functionality. You have noticed here we have the ability to copy. We can print or save to files. Under more, we can add different kinds of apps. like exporting to WhatsApp or Slack. So at this point, we have added several functionalities, like the ability to import images onto the canvas. We added an ability to export images. That was the last functionality we added. I showed you how to preview the app on iPad. Now, let's see if we can take it to visionOS. To take the app to visionOS, I would copy this code and create a new SwiftUI project for visionOS. You have noticed here, we have our project as visionOS and the application as app. Let's click next. Let's call it with the same name, O3 Pencil Kit Drawing. I will select everything in Content View and replace it. I will also change the file name to distract. You have noticed we now have some errors. So let's try if we can use O3 to fix all the errors. The ChatGPT app is still opened, so I'll press Option and space to bring the chat bar. You have now noticed we have the file O3 pencilkitdrawing.swift. Let's also update the entry point of the app. Then we will go back and try to fix the errors we have. Over here, you have noticed we have two errors. So with the ChatGPT app still open, let's press Option and space to bring the chat bar. So I will ask the model to fix the errors. You have noticed that wasn't successful, so all the errors still exist. So let's be more specific by copying the error and asking it to fix it. You have noticed now it is modifying the code, so it is going to apply all the changes. Now all the errors are gone. So let's resume the preview and see what it did. So you have noticed here, we have successfully brought our drawing app to visionOS. So we can pick any of these tools and start drawing. To do that, we need to use the select tool and start drawing. So everything here is also working fine as the previous example. We have all the other functionalities also working. We have all our edit tools in the menu and they all work fine as well. So for the visionOS app, the placement of the toolbar buttons and the tool picker is similar to that of iOS. We have the export button and the title in the leading section of the toolbar. Then we have the image import and the menu at the trailing section of the toolbar. The tool picker containing all the drawing tools is also housed in a bottom ornament. To improve the drawing experience of the visionOS app, one thing we can do is to move all the toolbar items from the drawing window and put them together as an attachment to the window as shown in the bottom ornament. In that case, we can ask the model to add a top ornament somewhere here so that it will be an attachment to the window instead of placing the toolbar buttons right on the window. So let's ask the model to do that. That will be our final improvement. Then we are done. So it is now thinking through the process. It will go through and make the modification so that we get a top ornament, which is an attachment to the top part of the window. That is the drawing window. So it is going to modify the code and auto apply the changes. Let's see what it will do. Now everything is done, so it has auto applied the changes. Let's look at what it did. You have noticed that is exactly what it did. Instead of having the toolbar items right inside the window, we now have them as attachment to the window. So this is everything we have in this video. I showed you how to vibe code a fully functioning drawing app for both iOS and visionOS. You can find all the source code in the description of the video. I encourage you to take it from here, work on it further, and implement additional functionalities you want. Thanks for watching this video.